Now, the former French President Nicolas Sarkozy has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. A French court has held him guilty of criminal conspiracy in a case that dates back to 2005 and links to the former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. A French court held Sarkozy guilty on one account in high-profile Libya funding case. The court found that Sarkozy had engaged in a corruption pact with Muammar Gaddafi, but he was cleared of the charge that accused him of using that money for election campaigning. Now, Sarkozy has been cleared of 3 other charges, including corruption, the misuse of Libyan public funds, and illegal election funding. Sarkozy now has the option to appeal that decision, but despite that, he'll be headed to prison. In a statement after the court announced the sentence, Sarkozy has condemned the verdict and has called it serious for the rule of law and for the trust that one can have in the French justice system.
Ladies and gentlemen, what happened today in this courtroom of the Paris Correctional Court is extremely serious for the rule of law, for the trust one can have in justice. More than 10 years of investigation, millions of euros spent to find Libyan funding, which the Correctional Court has just stated could not be found, and for good reason in my campaign.
All right, now joining us from Paris, we've got our correspondent Ross Cullen. Ross, tell us more about this case. Why is it that Nicolas Sarkozy, the former French president, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for, and what legal options does he have in front of him?
Yeah, this is a historic day for French politics. An ex-president, 5 years in jail is the sentence handed down here in Paris on Thursday for criminal conspiracy. And even if an appeal is launched against this, he will be serving some of his custodial sentence behind bars. Nicolas Sarkozy saying that it is a scandal. It's an injustice, saying that if he does have to sleep in prison, he will sleep in prison with his head held high. He said that there were extreme consequences for France's rule of law with this decision, saying that he would fight until his dying breath to prove his complete innocence. Some of the words of the former French president, who served 5 years in office from 2007 to 2012. After that decision a little bit earlier on today, that was for criminal conspiracy. He was cleared of corruption, cleared also of the concealments of embezzled funds. All of this links to the case where prosecutors said that Nicolas Sarkozy received millions of dollars worth of cash from the late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. In response, Nicolas Sarkozy was going to help Gaddafi rehabilitate his image on the world stage after years as a pariah. This is not the first time that Nicolas Sarkozy has had a brush with the law. He was convicted and already served 3 months wearing an electronic tag for trying to bribe a judge. He's also been convicted of authorising fake bills to cover up illegal campaign overspending in his ultimately unsuccessful bid for re-election in 2012. An appeal has been launched against that one. And just worth pointing out that we have had some responses already from politicians here in France. Understandably, Nicolas Sarkozy's party, the Conservative Party, the Republicans, are very upset about this. And in fact, Marine Le Pen as well, a very well-known far-right person here in France's political scene. She has said that while she did have political differences with Nicolas Sarkozy, she also was upset about the verdict.
You know, it's interesting that Nicolas Sarkozy says that this verdict actually is a threat for rule of law in France. Why does he say that this verdict is a threat for rule of law?
He says that the verdict has been politically motivated against him. He said that they have been trying to find out ways to continue to prosecute him for deeds he has not committed. He says he's innocent. He has denied all wrongdoing. He says that there have been these campaigns against him. However, he has been found guilty in a rule of law 3 times now for a range of different offences. And so he is going to have to appeal against this one. But as I said, even if there is an appeal, he will at least serve some time behind bars.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Ross Cullen, for joining us from Paris and getting us all those updates there.